Okay, the Bergen's out. There might not be a requirement for it. And that's because I put my sleep shelter into a roll-up. It's an idea I'm playing about with to lose the weight of the Bergen, and I'd be keen to actually weigh the actual Bergen itself. I think it's somewhere around 3.5–4 kilos, but I'm not too sure. So, putting my sleep shelter into a roll-up, cowboy style, might just save that much weight, and I can still have everything I want in the roll-up, such as a change of clothing. All the rest of the things would be put down here on a webbing belt, which we've already seen. Okay, kind of like it here for this one. Good shelter, clear on the ground. So this episode is a two-prong attack. One, can I lose the weight of the Bergen itself, and even if I'd want to. And two is a look at the actual system itself, which is a Gore-Tex tent for your hammock. We looked at a similar thing, which was the microclimate made out of a BIVVY. Works exceptionally well, and I paired that up with something else, which was the Bex bomb pod. Let's get this pack off and have a look at what we have. So this is a hammock inside a BIVVY with the bomb pod. Now it all fits in to the main storage capacity of the actual Bergen itself on the inside, but it takes up all that room. I don't know anyone in the infantry who'll actually pack the sleeping bags inside a stuff sack. Everyone will put them straight into the Bergens, and that makes the Bergen itself just a glorified stuff sack in itself. It's a bedroll, and considering it's pretty light, I think around 5 kilos, something like that, but it contains everything I need for a ground system and a ratting system as well. And I want to test out the suspension as well. I've not tried it. It's a parachute called Ladder. Now I've tried it on a small scale. This is big scale. So what used to be in the pack is now on a shoulder sling and put to the side of me, or just tucked around the back. Things like the canteen set, the stove set, and bashers and things like that, and food supplies are all going to be stowed on a webbing belt down here. So I've lost nothing really. So that does make the Bergen nothing more than a glorified stuff sack. And out of my own curiosity, I brought with me a luggage scale here, and I'm going to weigh my one. So first thing I want to do is just clear out everything from the Bergen, make sure there is nothing else in it other than it being completely empty. Even going to take out the lighter. I have a Gore-Tex DPM raincoat, and I think I should have some kind of Bergen cover in the top lid here. Yeah, I do. MCP Bergen cover. Okay, that's it. Completely empty. I'm going to just weigh it. Turn it on. Okay, let's get it weighed. 3.9 kilos that was reading. Now I was kind of guessing somewhere around 3 kilos, 3.5 kilos. So just shy of 4 kilos just for the Bergen alone. And remember, you've got to carry the weight of that on your shoulders. Empty, not even a toothbrush in it. Out of curiosity, I'm going to weigh the actual system itself that would have been in there. 5.3. So we got 5.3 just on the sleep unit itself, and 3.9 on the Bergen without a toothbrush. So that's 3.9, 5.3, all adds up to aching shoulders. It is nice to carry, but just for the sake of travelling through the local village and everything, I just put everything into the Bergen. So food for thought there. 3.9 kilos, which is nothing more than a glorified stuff sack. I don't think it would save much in the volume, folding and rolling everything separate. At the moment, I like this because it is just ready to get into the trees. It's kept in place with bungees. Mine have been knotted to make them a little shorter on the ground, and unroll this. And here it is, just ready for its ground configuration, just right here where I am. This is how I'd probably use it. I'd just clear the deck, maybe get a leaf bed underneath. Now, as you saw before, I want to try out using these here, which is the parachute ladder. Piece of paracord bent over like a little U, letter U, and put row of knots all the way down until what you have is a section that looks like that. On this end, I've just come around the back of the tree with both lines and connected straight up to the bina here. That leaves my tree bivvy like that. With the other end here indicated in black, I've just looped around the tree, come back through one of the loops and back down. So I'm only relying on the 2 cords. We're going to try both methods. This will be the test of the actual suspension there. I don't like that. I'm going to change it so it runs twice. Now I'm going to be solely reliant on the belief that this is actually real true 550 cord. If it's not, I'll be on my backside. Very gingerly at first. I'm going to take my boots off and try and get in. And this is the channel line bina, and as you saw, I'm running paracord. It also has the ability to make an A-ridge as well, which I'll try now. Paracord is stretching a lot more than I thought it would. I'm going to persevere with it. Okay. It's also featuring the actual pattern 90, which goes around the actual hammock. I can pull up the rain shelter completely so it stays off my face. Now this system in comparison is fully enclosed, and it's the wind that is the killer in the hammock. Any wind at all. Now I'm fully enclosed. Now it did say it was 550 cord. That is stretching beyond belief. Now the green side there I know is issue paracord. This is a version of it. So there's a chance I'll be putting proper tree straps with this system by the time it comes out of me. And this cocoon here I like a lot more than the snug pack one. It's one I made myself. But I've had a night out where the wind was so bad that it stole all the insulation, any insulation I could have had in the beginning, and it was a pointless exercise. The wind beat me. This is enclosed from head to foot, wind protection, and this is a system I wish I'd have had out on the Blue Moon camp. Oh, I'm taking that off, it's roasting. Yeah, on the Blue Moon camp where the wind did get the better of me. I had the snug pack cocoon with me, also had an under quilt with me. It beat me, the wind beat me. It was a really severe storm that night. Just looting off the ridge line here and set that aside. There's not always a requirement for it, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's only one thing better than insulation underneath you in a hammock, and that's 2 lots of insulation underneath you in the hammock. It's as simple as that. And then now we're going to put it into a roll system, and what I've used is a shoulder sling, a piece of paracord and a couple of bungees. And like you saw at the beginning, the bungees themselves were too long. I put 3 knots down each bungee, and that brings the length of the bungee, something like that, down to something like that. No need to go out and buy new bungees. I'm going to ensure all the aspects of the zips are done up. That drops to the ground. I retrieve my suspension. So I folded it so it's an equal distance head to foot. And now I'm going to put in the actual strap. It's a shoulder strap. I have a length of paracord on one side because I need to pull it through later. Put it down on the very end and start rolling. So I've got it into the shape I need, and it's at this point here I need to treat this like a lady. I sit on it and tie it up. So here's the other end with the paracord to the shoulder sling. This paracord will slide inside the roll when I pull from this end here. Before it disappears altogether, I've got a loop on this side which will click in just like that onto the shoulder, pull through, shoulder sling, I'm away. So this is the actual suspension I'm using, and I'm going to keep my eye on it. It did support me. Whether it would support me for the entire night, maybe. The green paracord didn't do too bad at all. There was very little movement in it. And with that, I place either end onto the shoulder sling itself. Now, in the fast getaway, I wouldn't be doing this. It would just be gathered up and put into my pocket loose. I'll worry about making it neat later. But like you saw, it's a really fast way of striking down a whole winterized hammock system for very cold and windy weathers. I keep everything into one unit. I find a little benefit from splitting an underquilt from a hammock. You need one and you need the other. One is pointless without the other. So combining the two in a permanent state is just, it's logic to me. You need both, keep them both together. Maybe on a camping expedition you can put things into your little stuff sacks and run it however you want, but for the sake of something like this, which is a winterized bug out hammock plus ground dwelling as well, I need something that is unified, which is absolutely protected from all the elements in the skies, the wind, the rain, and also protected on the ground through the same elements again. And as you can see, it's very easy just to put over my shoulder and travel with it like this. Not so much a requirement now, the Bergen. So for me, the Bergen still is, to all intents and purposes, a bug out bag. I could separate all this unit and put it in or not, but I have a different system for bugging out. But I thought it'd be interesting to show you an alternative way of running your pack. Now, spare clothing isn't a lot I see in people's bug out bags when they make YouTube videos. I see a lot of guns and things like that. Here in the UK, we don't have the right to just shoot anyone willy-nilly, unfortunately. I will always put spare clothing in. Now, you didn't actually see the clothing here, but I have had it where I've put it inside the actual hammock. You know, spare trousers, jumper, socks, things like that, all bagged up. And when not in use, they go underneath the hammock, but on top of the pod insulation. So when I zip up, it brings all the spare clothes onto my back and adds even additional insulation and the ability to carry spare clothing. So when is the likelihood of me actually using a system like this? Probably more for my own recreational winter camping, because there are nights where I like to go out stargazing and I don't really want to have a basher above me on a clear night but a cold and windy one. I still need to be able to look up into the stars and a bit of night camp. Once I finished the stargazing, it'll just be a case of zipping up the whole lot from foot to head end, and I won't be getting battered by the cold wind, and it is the wind that is an absolute pig. Any heat that you've energised from your body is stolen through the wind. I've just thrown on the MTP cover, don't know why. It's simpler than putting it in the pack. The hammock Gore-Tex tent, you can't buy these things on the open market. Gore-Tex would be far too expensive to make into a hammock sock, but if you really do enjoy winter camping and have been put off by the cold wind like me, this is the solution. Now you're going to have to shop around for the Gore-Tex long enough for your hammock. The Dutch Army Hoop BIVVY is plenty long enough for a 280 centimetre hammock in length, plenty long enough. I'm about 173 centimetres. I haven't got a problem. A lot of people won't want to put a little hole top and head of their £100 bivvy bag, but I assure you, I've had it back down on the floor afterwards. The wind and the rain doesn't get in. I just velcro up a patch to put on, and it's as simple as that. I quite like the idea of not having nearly 4 kilos of glorified stuff sack just to carry a 5 kilo night out camp kit. So I'm going to leave it there and leave them thoughts with you. Even if you don't use them, they're still there in the survivor memory bank up there. One day you might need something like this. I just enjoy something like this. And I think we'll take this out in the winter. Next time there's a bit of stellar phenomena, I'll take you with me perhaps. Until next time, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you there. Happy trails.